HTML SVG graphics. SVG defines vector-based graphics in XML format. What is SVG? SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. SVG is used to define graphics for the web. SVG is a W3C recommendation. The HTML SVG element. The HTML SVG element is a container for SVG graphics. SVG has several methods for drawing paths, boxes, circles, text, and graphics images. Browser support. The number in the table specifies the first browser version that fully supports the SVG element. So here we have in this row, we have the element, we have the Chrome, we have the Internet Explorer, Edge, we have Firefox, Safari, Opera. And then the SVG element, here we have the 4.0, 9.0, 3.0, 3.2, 10.1. Now we're gonna see some examples. We're gonna have the SVG circle, and this is the example. We are gonna go to Visual Studio Code and we're gonna create a file. We're gonna create a file. Here we're gonna click a new file. We're gonna name it index.html. We're gonna press Shift exclamation mark to have a template to work with. We're gonna press Ctrl plus to make the font look bigger. And inside of the body section is where we are gonna type our code. And okay, so we're just gonna type in we're gonna type angle brackets SVG element. Okay, so we're gonna have this SVG element, and inside of the SVG element we're gonna have the width of 100 pixels, and the height is gonna be 100 pixels as well. So SVG with a width of 100 pixels and a height equal sign double quotes of 100 pixels, and you can omit the px short for pixels. So inside of the SVG element we're gonna have the circle element. Okay, so we're gonna have the circle element. Okay, and we don't need this one. We're just gonna close it like this, and in the circle element we are gonna have the CX is gonna be assigned to 50 pixels. We are gonna have the CY again is gonna be assigned to, I think it was 40, and yeah, no, it's 50 pixels. We're gonna have the CR or just R. Okay, R is gonna be assigned to 40 pixels. Then we're gonna have a stroke, and it's gonna be green in this case. So let's save it, let's open it to see how it's looking. Okay, so it's gonna be looking like this. And by the way, in order to open it, you can go to your index.html file that you just created right now and right click and open with live server, or you just press Alt plus L, Alt plus O. So that is that. We're gonna have stroke equals sign green, and then we're gonna have stroke width is gonna be 4. Okay, so stroke hyphen width equal sign double quotes is gonna be 4 pixels, and then we're gonna have finally the fill attribute, and it's gonna be yellow. Okay, so we're gonna save it. We're gonna go to our website, and this is how it's looking. Okay, so we have 50 50 40. So why is looking like that? Let me see. We have 50 50 40. Okay, and now we're gonna have the width is gonna be 100 CX, CY, R is gonna be 40, stroke green, the width is gonna be 4, and the fill is gonna be yellow. CX is gonna be 50, CY is gonna, oh, okay, I mess up here. See, you have the CY, I put the number outside of the double quote, so that is the reason it's showing like this, all messed up. Now I'm gonna correct it, save it, And yeah, this is how it should be looking. And you can play around with the colors. Instead of green, you can put, I don't know, let's say black, maybe gonna be black. And instead of green, instead of the yellow, let's put it, I don't know, purple maybe. Let's see how it looks. We can go, and as you can see, the outside is dark black, and the inside is purple. We have the stroke width of 4, and let's put it 40. For example, you can see this thing is not very thick, and it's kind of like a field with black, the black colors. Now it's gonna be 40 pixels, so now it's gonna look like this. And you can play around with these values. You can put 10 maybe, and it's gonna look like that. So yeah, that is how we use the SVG element. And now we're gonna move to the next example. We're gonna go to the SVG rectangle, and again we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code, and we're gonna go work with the body section. We already have our HTML template, and inside of the body section, again, we have the SVG element. We have the width and the height. In this case, we're gonna have a width of 400 pixels, and the height is gonna be 100 pixels. That's right. This time we're dealing with a rectangle element, so instead of circle, we're gonna have rect, for short for rectangle. And again, this is inside of an angle brackets, and at the end of our code we just have an n slash, an n forward slash, so you don't have to, for example, you need to do this like a rec, and then start your rec tag, and then end your rec tag, your rectangular tag. You just open your angle brackets, type in rec space, and then you put your final or your n forward slash. So that's how we're gonna be doing it. We're gonna be saving it, and let's play around with these values that we have from the previous example to see how it's looking. So we go to our website, and there's nothing showing. Let me see why. So we have the width. Oh, okay. So okay, let's delete this part. So, and we're gonna have the width is gonna be, okay, the width is gonna be 100 pixels, and the height again is gonna be 100 pixels. So the height is gonna be 100 pixels. Now what else do we have here? We have the style. So we're gonna have the style equal sign, double quotes, and inside of the double quotes we're gonna have the field calling, and we're gonna pick the RGB this time, and we're gonna pick this value. So we're gonna be playing with 0,0, I think it was 225, 255. Okay, so that's the number they're using. Okay, so it's starting to take shape. We have the fill. Now we're gonna go for the semicolon stroke width. Okay, so outside of the parentheses we're gonna have semicolon, and we're gonna have a stroke hyphen width, and it's gonna be colon, and it's gonna be set to 10 pixels. Let me see. Okay, stroke width is gonna be just set to 10, like that. You need width. Okay, so let's see how it's looking. This is our website. Okay, nothing's happening yet. Okay, so now we have the stroke hyphen width is gonna be 10, and then the stroke. Okay, so outside of that we're gonna have stroke. Okay, and now we're gonna have a semicolon. Okay, the stroke is gonna be RGB, and now the values are gonna be 000. Okay, 000. We save it, we go to our website, and this is how it should be looking. And again, we have the rectangle element inside of the SVG element. We have the width attribute, the height attribute, the style attribute, And inside of the style attribute, we have this property, we have the fill, and you can play around. You can choose whatever color you want. We can pick maybe this color, for example. And for the stroke, it's gonna be, I don't know, let's pick like a yellow maybe. We're gonna save it. We're gonna go to our website, and this is how it should be looking like. So that is done for this example. And again, we are focusing only on the HTML part, so we're focusing on the HTML. We're not focusing on JavaScript, nothing like that. So this is a very general example. So we're gonna see the SVG rounded rectangle. Again, we're gonna go to the Visual Studio Code, and now let me see, we have the SVG, the width. Okay, the width and the height are the same. The height, and for this example, the height is gonna be 180. Okay, so we're just gonna delete this part. We're just gonna delete we have the SVG element with a width attribute and a height attribute. Okay, then we're gonna have, in this case, we are gonna have a rectangle again, so it's gonna be rect. And now we're gonna have x, y, okay, x and y 20. Okay, we're gonna have x equal sign 50, and y is gonna be equal sign double quotes 20. Like that, we're gonna have an rx and a ry of 20. So it's gonna be rx of 20 and then ry of 20. Okay, we're gonna have the width, it's gonna be 150, and the height is gonna be 150. Okay, so the width, the width is gonna be 150, and the height is gonna be 150 as well. So we're gonna save it. We're gonna go to our website, and this is how it's looking up to this point. So we're gonna style it. So we're gonna go to the next line, to line 13, and we're gonna have the style attribute equal sign double quotes. Inside of the double quotes, we're gonna have the fill. You can pick whatever color you want. Let's go with the colors that they're assigning here. Red. Stroke is gonna be black, so it's gonna be red semicolon. Stroke colon is gonna be black. Okay, okay, black, like this. And then we're gonna have a stroke width of 5, so semicolon, and then stroke hyphen width colon is gonna be 5. Okay, so let's see how it's looking. Okay, so it's taking this form. Now we're gonna go for opacity. Okay, so opacity. Okay, let me see, opacity colon is gonna be 0.5. So let's go to our website, and this is how it should be looking. Let me see if I didn't miss anything. Okay, so we have the style fill red, we have a stroke black, a stroke hyphen width 5. The opacity is gonna be okay, so yeah, that's fine. We're gonna save it, and this is the final result that we have here. And you can play around, you can change it, you can pick whatever color you want. You can pick whatever color you want here too. You can play with the opacity. It's gonna be from 0 to 1, so you can put maybe, I don't know, 0.9. This is how it's gonna look like when we go to 9. So let's go from 0.1. Let me see, and this is how it's gonna be look like with 0.1. We also have the width. Let me see, they're using 5. So let's go for, okay, so let's go for, I don't know, let's go for 20. So it's gonna look a little bigger. Okay, so it's gonna be like that, but let's go for, I don't know, say the opacity is gonna be 0.7, and it's gonna be looking like this. So you can play around with these values. We're gonna move to the next example. We're gonna have the SVG star, and we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code. We're gonna delete this part. So we're just gonna have the SVG element with a width attribute and a height attribute. So the width in this example is gonna be 300 pixels, and the height is gonna be 200 pixels. So it's gonna be 300 pixels, and the height is gonna be 200 pixels. We're gonna save it. Now, okay, so we're gonna have a polygon. So we're gonna have the polygon like this, and the polygon is gonna have points here. So it's gonna be points, equal sign, double quotes, and we're gonna have numbers. It's gonna be 100. Okay, it's gonna 110. Okay, space, then it's gonna be 40 comma 198. Then we're gonna have space, and it's gonna be 190.70. Okay, 190.78. Okay, 190.78. Okay, then we're gonna have a space, and we're gonna have 10.78, another space, and we're gonna have 160, 198, 160 comma 198. We're gonna save it, and let's see how it's looking. So it's looking like that, but we're gonna style it right now. So this is the polygon element. We have the points attribute, and now we're gonna have the style attribute. So style attribute equal sign, double quotes. We're gonna fill it, and the color is gonna be it's gonna be lime. It's gonna be lime. It has to be here. It's gonna be lime. Now we're gonna have a stroke. It's gonna be stroke like this. It's gonna be purple, so it's gonna be purple. Now we're gonna have a semicolon, and we're gonna have a stroke width. Okay, so we're gonna have the stroke hyphen width colon is gonna be 5, I think. Yeah, 5. Okay, so now we're gonna have, okay, semicolon. We're gonna have the fill rule, fill hyphen rule. Okay, so fill hyphen rule, and it's gonna be even add. Okay, so it's gonna be colon even add, as you can see here. Save it. Let's go to our website, and this is how it should be looking. So we have here, let's put the style here, so we have everything. Okay, so now it's looking better. Okay, so we go to our website, and this is how it should be looking. And you can play around with the colors. Instead of lime, you can pick, I don't know, whatever color. You can pick blue maybe. Instead of purple, you can choose, I don't know, kind of like an orange. Let's see how it's looking. So it's gonna be looking like that. Instead of the width 5, we're gonna put a 50. I think 50 is too much, but okay, it's too much. Maybe just, I don't know, 15. So it's gonna be looking like this. Yeah, you can change the colors and all the stuff. So we're gonna move to the next example. We're gonna have the SVG logo. So we have this. Okay, yeah, let's delete this example here. We're just gonna have the SVG element width and height attributes. In this case, the height is gonna be 130 and the width is gonna be 500. So it's gonna be, the height is gonna be 500, and we're just gonna have a width of 130 pixels like that. Okay, so we're gonna have the depth element. So we're gonna have the, okay, depth element like that. Okay, depth element like this. And if you want to read about it, you have this information here. Depth. The depth element is used to store graphical objects like objects that will be used at a later time. Objects created inside of a depth element are not rendered directly. To display them, you have to reference them with a use element. For example, graphical objects can be referenced from anywhere. However, defining these objects inside of a depth element promotes understandability of the SVG content and is beneficial to the overall accessibility of the document. So you have that. And now we're gonna start typing. So we have the depth element. Inside of that, we're gonna have the line gradient element like this. Okay, linear gradient. Okay, so linear gradient like this, and we're using camel notation, so that is important. So we have the linear gradient. Okay, so we are here, and what else? We're gonna have the ID first. Okay, so in the linear gradient element, we're gonna have an ID equal sign double quotes, and inside the double quotes we're gonna have the grad, the short for gradient, just one. Okay, so we're gonna have an x1 equal sign double quotes of 0%, so we're gonna have 0%. We are gonna have a y1 equal sign double quotes, it's gonna have again 0%. We are gonna have x2, we're gonna have x2 equal sign double quotes, and it's gonna be 100%. And then we're gonna have a y2 equal sign double quotes, and it's gonna be 0%. So we're gonna save it. We're gonna go to our website. We don't have anything yet, but we're gonna be working still. So we are in line 13. Now we are gonna have the stop element. So line 14, we're gonna have the stop element, and okay, so let's hit like that. Inside of the stop element, we are gonna have the offset. So we're gonna have the offset attribute equal sign double quotes. Let me see, like this. Offset is gonna be 0%. The style attribute. Okay, so we're gonna have the style attribute. The style attribute is gonna be, okay, it's gonna be a stop hyphen color. We're gonna have the RGB open parentheses, and now we're gonna have some numbers. 255. Okay, it's gonna be 255 comma 255 comma 0. And then we're gonna, outside of the parentheses, semicolon, we're gonna have a stop opacity is gonna be 1. So stop hyphen opacity and colon is gonna be 1. And you don't have to put pixels, I think. No, just, I mean, if you want to. So let's see if it's no. Okay, nothing's happening. And we're gonna have the same for the, we are gonna have the same for the next line. Okay, but okay, so I'm just gonna copy this. We're gonna copy the line 14 and gonna paste it in line 15, but the only difference is for the offset, instead of having a value of 0, it's gonna be having a value of 100. So we have, okay, and the RGB we're gonna have 255, and the second value is not gonna be 255, it's just gonna be 0. So we're gonna have that. What else is changing? Nothing is changing. So we have the linear. Okay, so we're gonna close this one, and let me see what else do we have. Stop. Okay, so we don't need this. We are just gonna have our n slash for both lines 14 and 15. Okay, like that. So let's see, nothing's happening. So we have the linear gradient, that is that. We end our linear gradient tag, we end our depth tag, and now we're gonna have this lines, the ellipse element. So outside of the depths, we are gonna have the ellipse element, so it's gonna be ellipse. Okay, and let me see, we're gonna have, okay, so forward slash, and we're gonna close the angle brackets, and inside of the ellipse element we're gonna have this attribute of cx equal sign double quotes, and it's gonna be 100 pixels. Okay, outside of that we're gonna have cy equal sign double quotes is gonna be 70. Outside of that we're gonna have, so now we're gonna have the rx equal sign double quotes is gonna be 85. Outside of that we are gonna have the ry double quotes equal sign double quotes is gonna be 55. Then we're gonna have the field attribute equal sign double quotes, and it's gonna be URL open parentheses. Inside of the parentheses we're gonna have the number sign and grad1 gradient1. So we're gonna be using the gradient1. Okay, so we're gonna save it up to this point. Okay, so his work is looking like this. But now we're gonna move to the text. So we're gonna have the text element / and we're gonna close the angle brackets. Okay, so in this case now we can do it like this. We're gonna have the text here, and then we're gonna have SVG. So it's gonna be SVG like this. And as for the text, we're gonna have the field attribute equal sign double quotes, and we're gonna have 100. So it's gonna be like that. Gonna be 100. We're gonna have the CY, and it's gonna be 70. Oh no, we are in the field. Okay, so for field is gonna be number sign F. Okay, so I mess it up. It's gonna be number sign F. How many are 6? Okay, so it's gonna be okay. One more. Outside of that, we're gonna have the font size. So it's gonna be font hyphen size equal sign double quotes, and it's gonna be 45 pixels. Okay, outside of that, we're gonna have the font family, and it's gonna be set to Verdana. Okay, with uppercase V. Okay, so now we're gonna move outside of that. We're gonna have X equal sign, and it's gonna be 50. It's gonna be 50. Okay, it's gonna be 50. Outside of that, we're gonna have Y equal sign double quotes. It's gonna be 86. And finally, okay, we have this SVG. Okay, so outside of the text, below the text like that, we're just gonna type sorry, your browser does not support inline. In case your browser does not support it, you are gonna see this message. We're gonna save it. We're gonna open our website, and this is how it should look like. So we have everything up to this point. We have the TX, we have everything. Let's click in here and try it yourself. This is how they did it. Let's grab their example. Let's paste this in our Visual Studio Code. Let's just delete the stuff. Let's paste it. Let's open it. Okay, and this is how it's looking for them. Again, you have the linear gradient, you have the ID grad1. The ID attribute of the linear gradient element is the one that we are using here, and the field attribute of the ellipse element, we are using the equal sign double quotes URL open parentheses. Now we're going to use the number sign and then grad1. So we're using this ID here. And yeah, that is that for this example, and this is just a basic overview. We're not going into full detail. Now we're gonna see the difference between SVG and Canvas. SVG is a language for describing 2D graphics in XML. Canvas draws 2D graphics on the fly with JavaScript. SVG is XML based, which means that every element is available within the SVG DOM. You can attach JavaScript event handlers for an element. In SVG, each drawn shape is remembered as an object. If attributes of an SVG object are changed, the browser can automatically re-render the shape. Canvas is rendering pixel by pixel. In Canvas, once the graphic is drawn, it is forgotten by the browser. If its position should be changed, the entire scene needs to be redrawn, including any objects that might have been covered by the graphic. So we're gonna see a comparison of Canvas and SVG. The table below shows some important difference between Canvas and SVG. We have the Canvas, resolution dependent, no support for event handlers, poor text rendering capabilities. You can save the resulting image as a .png or .jpg, well suited for graphic intense games. We have the SVG, resolution independent, support for event handlers, best suited for applications with large rendering areas, Google Maps. Slow rendering if complex, anything that uses the DOM allowed will be slow. And finally, not suited for game applications.